With that, I would like the motion to now be passed unanimously. Thank you. Under the heading of new business, but F, G, H, I, J, K, and L, may I pull those together and ask for a resolution to recommend the adoption of the revision of board policies as indicated. Motion made by myself, seconded by Mr. Wunsch. Discussion. We perhaps will have more detail, but these were overall policies that attended to the details of addressing our board meetings, our notice of meetings, the minutes from the meetings, special meetings, and probably the only thing that added some new concept was the broadcasting and taping of meetings. Most of these changes, which actually had taken place over time, we had already begun, or we had already been in operation. But we made sure that right now all of the wording is correct, all of the details are in there, so that the policy corresponds with what we've been actually doing, and therefore, yes.
You want the first one?
I'm going to support what Mrs. Mazzarella says. In essence, our practices have been in line with the law, our policies, we have a little housekeeping. They were altered and are now in alignment with current law. Mr. Bonaski, I think, will give us a brief overview of some of those changes. So
sure.
He doesn't have to read through each one.
No, a couple months ago, Dr. James and the board asked me to look at perhaps upgrading our web page, and one of the outcomes after these resolutions are adopted this evening, assuming they're adopted, is that the website will be improved in terms of information given to the public and access to certain documents, etc. For example, these resolutions themselves and the proposed policies were posted on the website after the first reading at the last meeting. So that's something that these new policies enable us to do. And the new website will be launched soon after that website. New portion of the website will be launched soon after the board adopts these this evening. But they are mostly housekeeping. As I said, when the president of the board, Dr. James, gave us this assignment, I had my associate, Lindsay Crocker, who's sitting behind me, comb through your entire policy book, which is a rather voluminous document. And some of these policies in various areas go back to the 50s, 60s, were last amended in the 90s, etc. So we brought everything up to date. There have been changes both by statute and by opinions of the Committee on Local Government. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling so well tonight. My voice is cracking. The Committee on Open Government and the various court decisions that we wanted to bring into compliance. So we tried to bring it all up to date. As far as we're concerned, it is now state of the art and ready to go.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Passed unanimously. Under legal, may I have a motion to acknowledge the receipt of the statement for professional services rendered on non-retainer matters in the amount of $23,813.27 for the period ending January 31. Motion made by Mr. Egan, seconded by Mr. Wunsch. Discussion. All in favor? Yes. Under board business, I have a motion. Actually, I would like to announce the following dates for the Board of Education budget workshops to be held at the Commack High School at 8 p.m. That is Thursday, March 7, Thursday, March 14, and Thursday, March 21. Moving forward, may I have a motion to adopt the following resolution? Be it resolved that the Commack Board of Education hereby nominates Mildred Brown, Eileen Hertz, and Marianne Zumpano to serve as trustees of the Western Suffolk BOCES Board of Cooperative Educational Services for a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2016. Motion made by Mr. Wunsch, seconded by Mrs. Goober. Discussion.
I would like to say that it's been a pleasure, and I've been proud to have served with these 3 women for the past 11 years.
Thank you very much. They really, when we have visited their facilities, we have been fortunate enough to be invited to various events, and the work that's done that they oversee is amazing, and we do appreciate your 2 hats that you wear. Thank you very much. Mr. Wunsch. All in favor? Aye. Motion passed unanimously. I have a motion to adopt the resolution for the annual budget vote and trustee election to be held Tuesday, May 21, 2013. Motion made by Mr. Egan, seconded by myself. Discussion. All in favor? Passed unanimously. May I have a motion to acknowledge receipt of the internal claims auditor's monthly update? Motion made by Mrs. Goober, seconded by Mr. Egan. Discussion. In favor? Passed unanimously. I have a motion to acknowledge the receipt of the CSE, CPSE recommendations approved on the many dates listed. Motion made by myself, seconded by Mr. Egan. Discussion. All in favor? Passed unanimously. I have a motion to acknowledge receipt of the below listed financial reports, listed 1 through 7. Motion made by Mr. Egan, seconded by Mr. Wunsch. Discussion. In favor? Passed unanimously. At this time, I have a motion to adopt the following resolution, that the Board of Ed will hold a regular meeting on Thursday, March 14th at 6 p.m. at Commack High School, Sky Lane, as well as previous to that, an exec session on February 28th at Hubs at 6 o'clock. And it is anticipated that at the Thursday meeting on the 14th, the board will make a motion for the purpose of adjourning into exec session, and then at 7 p.m. the board will reconvene in public session for the purpose of holding its regular meeting. Motion made by Mr. Egan, seconded by Mrs. Goober. Discussion, all in favor? Passed. Thank you. At this time, if anyone would like to come forward and attend to any other issues on the agenda or otherwise, please come to the microphone.
Good evening. I guess this was part of your presentation. I waited to the end for the answer. Do you guys have a policy or a procedure from removing snow from the roofs? I mean, in the news the last couple of days, we heard about roofs collapsing. I know we had about 3 feet of snow or so. Are the roofs checked after a substantial snowstorm such as this? Because I've heard reports from some of my kids and their friends that there were some leaks in the cafeteria at the high school. I would assume that's from the snow on the roof.
We have, our roofs are rated for this region. In other words, the load that they are capable of carrying is rated for the region. In addition, they are inspected regularly. Are there leaks? Yes, but they would be leaks whether it was from snow or rain. And it is when you have buildings that are of the age that some of our buildings are, you chase after those leaks and you patch them as you go.
I don't think I'm as concerned about the leaks as the amount of snow. I think this was an extraordinary snowfall, probably more snow than the roofs are rated for. Because I don't know what department, I guess it was the custodial crew, did they inspect the roofs, make sure the roofs aren't overloaded before we allow the kids to come back to school and occupy the classrooms and such?
As I understand the answer, it is that the roofs are rated for this region, that they are rated for the load associated, and they are inspected on a yearly basis. Any further answer, and I'd have to get an architect to answer that question.
I'm not asking about the rating of the roof. I'm saying, do you guys send the guy up on the roof and say there's 10 feet of snow on the roof, it's not safe? I mean, is that something we...
Our men aren't qualified to determine whether or not that's safe.
Okay.
The roofs are rated for the region.
I wanted to touch on the security slide. I guess what you showed was the security measures you've implemented. Was that what we were supposed to take from that?
That is our current security plan that was modified after the incident and the tragedy at Newtown.
Okay, and on the slide it showed that 85%, or basically all the security guards in the school district are former police officers,
No.
or have some sort of police training.
85% are. The other 15% were on staff prior to 2001 when that became a requirement.
Is there any consideration for having any of these security guards carrying concealed arms?
There is currently a committee of individuals working on making formal recommendations for any long-term changes to the security plan. I will tell you, Superintendent, I do not support armed guards in our schools.
Is that your decision, or is it something that the board has to discuss?
It is not my decision, it's the board's decision. I told you what my recommendation would be.
And I second that statement.
Okay, last week, well, I think you touched on making available, Mr. Barnowski did the records that are going to be talked about at these meetings. I was on the website today and I didn't see a link or anything that made it clear where the documentation was.
Dan, for what?
Well, section 103E of the open meeting law says that you have to make all records available for the public to view. He touched on the fact that it was available on the website, but I didn't see it, so is...
When you click
We're
on
not, let's, I believe that the resolutions and suggested policies which we adopted after the first, as I said before, after the first reading last time, were in fact put on the website. Is that
if you, they were, if you clicked on where it said,
Can we explain this?
Sure.
On the homepage of the website, at the top of the website, there's a link to the agenda page for tonight's board meeting. Also, under the navigation bar, under District Office, Board of Education, there is a link to the agenda. On the agenda page is a link to supporting papers, the agenda and supporting papers. It's there every month.
And that's put on at the same time as the agenda, because I saw the agenda online, but I didn't see
It's posted at the same
links.
time. Always there.
Last week at the meeting regarding the changes to the policies, I think we touched on it again tonight. We went to great lengths to keep reiterating that the changes were to the policies and not the procedures. But some of the procedures precipitated the complaint that went to the state, and that you received an answer from the state saying that you weren't conducting your procedures properly.
I'm sure you've seen Mr. Freeman's letter. It says, it speaks for itself. It found no wrongdoing or any other misconduct on behalf of the school board of the district. Mr. Templini, I'm sure, shared that letter with you.
No wrongdoing kind of implies that we were doing right.
I'll disagree with that statement. I have Mr. Freeman's letter here.
As I said, the letter speaks for itself. You're entitled to your own opinion.
So my interpretation of what he
Well,
says is...
again, we are not going to do this kind of on and on and on. In all likelihood, there is your opinion, and then there is the understanding that we received from a vote of confidence from Mr. Freeman's letter. The only point at which there was some level of attention was the fact that we have historically looked to that moment just before we go into exec session as one that we did not imagine anyone, let alone many or most people, would want to be in this room so that we could say at 6 o'clock that we're going inside for 2 hours. Therefore, historically, we had looked in here or stayed in there and made these motions but not come into the room. Now we will walk in and we will do that very same proper type of action, but not because we were in any way not addressing the law, but by the fact that for the, 15 years, I have maybe once seen someone else in the room. That's all. And it was never to hide anything. It was never to not attend to our responsibilities. It was more a matter of facing the reality that most people did not want to come out at 6 o'clock to see that we went into exec session and then sit there or go home again and come back at 8 o'clock.
And that's what Mr. Freeman refers to in his letter, saying that that's not proper. that that's a violation
He
of
never
the law.
uses those words, don't twist it.
Nothing in the
That's
language
unfair.
of the open meeting law, this legislative history of the open meeting law, or the case law interpreting the open meeting law that indicates that the requirement of the open meeting law only applies to situations in which the public is present.
And you just said,
That's
he said it was
exactly what I
improper,
said.
you never said that.
Exactly what I said.
Own
I
up
said,
to it.
nothing indicates that we could do that, but at the same time, we would walk out here time and again, see nothing, and then attend to the starting of the meeting. So he was absolutely not suggesting that we were purposefully or in any way taking it as an indication that we had a right to not follow.
By the way, I agree with everything Mr. Freeman said in that letter, and everything he said in that letter is implemented in what the policies that we passed this evening.
And I have to get back on this again. The start of this was based on a letter that you sent to Albany stating in writing that you left this building at 6:55 when you're on tape leaving here at 6:26.
That's not true, that's not what started it. That's what started this
Well,
was,
all right,
was
maybe
the
it didn't
complaint
start it,
by...
but you wrote a letter saying you left at 6:55, you're on tape leaving here at 6:26. There's the misinterpretation of fact.
No, you know what started it? What started it was, you showed up, one of the only people in the history that I know of, you showed up here to see if we were going to start exec session. You did not get an indication of that, so you thought there was you were unearthing some kind of huge conspiracy. In fact, time and again, we have walked out here, not the day that you were here, we have walked out here and seen most people with any sense are home with their families, coming to the meeting later, but in fact, that particular day, you are correct. You were here, but you left, and then you were not available to witness the fact that we did have a meeting. You not only didn't accept that, you accused all of us of lying upstate. You actually went so far as to say that each of us signed a legal affidavit that we did have a meeting and that that might not be true, so that you individually perhaps cast shadow on the integrity of I don't know how many professionals, I don't know how many people who've never committed a crime in their whole lives, and yet this is all because you came to a meeting one day because we didn't come out here and tell you we were going into exec session. Please forgive me, everyone here, this should not go on. And then we did come out and we did have exec session. So therefore, I will now calm myself down to note that all of this is about one particular person, if not maybe two, who have something to find fault with. And you have gone to the state, you have gone to the authorities with the Bar Association, you have gone to so many legitimate authorities, and they all keep telling you, you've even gone to court. And they all keep saying to you, what are you looking for? There's nothing there.
Well, you keep saying me. You have me
Your
mixed
name
up with
is
somebody
written
else.
all over everything, Dan.
Well,
So please
If
own it.
you
Own
want to
it, Dan.
speculate, fine with that. But what you said doesn't concur what Mr. Bronowski wrote in his response to the state over the complaint. He admits that they didn't you didn't follow proper procedures.
I admitted it too. How many ways do I have to tell you, Dan? I didn't know you were here. Otherwise I would have brought you some cookies because we have a few inside. Believe me, we're not trying to hide anything.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Curtin. Which, before Mrs. Curtin comes to the mic to make her statement, we just would like to congratulate her again.
Oh,
on
yes.
her
Thank you.
receiving.
No, I want to congratulate you for having two children that would go up and speak highly of you because you couldn't get my 4 kids to go there.
Don't forget your 4 kids to feed up.
Well, Kathy Curtin, I'm a parent here in Commack. I just have one question with this open meetings law and being recorded. Can we request that we not be recorded if we come up here to ask a question?
We don't hear you.
I know you're not being
Yeah,
recorded.
request, yes.
You can request, but we cannot, as I said earlier, prevent recording. And we cannot require, there's some debate about this legally, as to whether you can require a person who wishes to record to come and announce that first to the clerk. We have erred on the side of agreeing with Mr. Freeman and said we're not going to require that, because that's Mr. Freeman's opinion. We ask it as a matter of courtesy for the reason that perhaps in this day and age, I know there are parents of young children who do not want their images, you know, on the internet
Or my child, if my child.
YouTube or whatever, because of fear of various things. So the answer is we cannot prohibit tape recording or video recording.
However, there's nothing stopping you from standing directly in front of the camera and blocking out the view while you get up there.
Well, I don't want my child to be recorded if they hear something.
Yeah,
We
we
do
do
have-
have to take measures to guard that, it's not
Because
something that we
through the
can
school
do.
district, we can't sign a thing that we do not want our children on.
But we can't enforce that at a public meeting, that's what I'm saying.
We will not do that, we will take care for that, courtesy for your child, but we cannot force that issue on another individual.
Okay, so when students are coming here to be recognized, are the parents then going to be made aware prior to that they could be recorded?
If someone announces it, or we, as we did this evening, observe it, we will announce it.
I came from the high school meetings, right?
Thank
And
you
the
very
roofs
much.
have been there and they said they're taking care of it.
By the way, my children are gonna kill me if I end up on YouTube with my sentence, okay?
Excuse me, we're already there.
I know, anyway.
So you don't have to
Anyone
peace
else?
signs and duck face.
Anybody else? Does anyone have a question?
You have it all, a limited opportunity if you read the policy, but let's go.
Okay. All right, I'll go off the open meeting law questions. And I've been following something closely. And a couple of weeks ago, there was a guilty verdict in the trial of a former employee of the district. And there was also, regarding that trial, there's a lawsuit against the school district. And I, without trying to go into too much detail, because I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, I want to know if that lawsuit has been settled. The claim against the school district has been settled, or is that still open?
No, the claim against the school district has been settled with our insurance carrier paying the settlement compensation, and the lawsuit continues with respect to the plaintiff against the individual defendant.
Okay, but as far as the lawsuit against the school district, it's been settled?
Correct.
And the insurance company made the payout 100%, didn't cost us anything?
I don't think there was a deductible on that, Laura, do you recall?
I don't believe it was.
I don't believe it was.
And by the way, we voted on that settlement publicly, I believe at the September meeting, but, no, it couldn't have been, I wasn't at the September meeting. It was
I
either
think you
August
did.
or October.
I think we did, but there was no indication of what the settlement was. It was just,
Correct.
it was just,
And
One, there was a confidentiality agreement in the settlement. Two, I don't know her age now, but the plaintiff was a minor. There were various complications.
yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is there was no indication that it was for this particular incident. It just said for settlement of a matter, something to that extent.
Because of the confidentiality.
So unless somebody got up and asked what it was about, we wouldn't know what it was about.
Well, it was the matter you were referring to.
It is the matter I'm referring to.
Correct.
The point I'm trying to make is, what I made the last time, is that
we have
the
responsibilities
settlement,
that we
the
explained to you
settlement was
last time.
confidential, but the case itself is public knowledge. I have the case right here.
Well, no, you go online and the court computer cites this case with the names of the parties. You're absolutely correct. It'll show you went on it this evening. It's been settled with respect to the school district and carries on with respect to the individuals. We choose not to, in the agenda, name especially minor children who may be plaintiffs against school districts.
I don't think I'm asking for you to announce the name of the minor who's in the case, but I think you owe us a responsibility to refer to what the case is about, so someone who's following the case knows that you settled the case. It doesn't come up 6 months later and say, is the case still open?
Well, the thing is, when you settle a case with a confidentiality agreement, that's a tricky business under FOIL. If you want to FOIL it, you can, and see what the, what could and could not be released. It may have to be redacted. Names of the infant plaintiff may have to be taken out. I haven't thought about that. But
As we said before, none of what we do is trying to deceive, we're trying to protect, and that is the way we handle the responsibility we have to protect. If you have another opinion, it's yours.
Okay, thank you. That's my questions for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
May I have a motion to adjourn into exec session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation in the matter of Roz Lindsay versus Commack Union Free School District and seeking legal advice from board attorney. Motion made by Mr. Wunsch, seconded by Mr. Egan. All in favor? Motion passed unanimously.
I gotta do my